Sheldon, the defensive line's been infused with a decent amount of talent this offseason. When you're out there and you look to your left and see some guys, look to your right and see some guys, I mean, what kind of goes through your mind?
I think you kind of hit on the head. I mean, the amount of talent that we have in that room is it's pretty crazy. I think even last year we were really talented. Uh, Obviously, coming from New Orleans, I played on a lot of talented groups, but top to bottom, I'd have to say, man for man, this is probably as talented as the room I've been in. Just everyone's ability to win on three downs, is special. I think we got a lot of guys who uh, can really change games, can really wreck games, and you're starting to see it every day. It's a different guy here and there, but everything's starting to come together slowly but surely. But I like what I'm seeing from everybody in the room so far.
How does Quinton look? I know he said he feels like he's in the best shape of his life. How do you
Yeah,
feel about
I was talking to JFM, I think yesterday, just talking about how great Quinton looks out there playing. I mean, he's as good as I've seen him play, since he's been in the league, even watching from afar and then obviously being his teammate last year. This is as good as he's looked consistently, down in, down out, explosion, pass rush moves, setting the edge in the run game, playing with effort. He's doing everything he needs to do to be the caliber of player everyone in the league knows he is. So he's doing well so far.
We were just talking to Salah about run defense. He said he felt like last year you guys were better than the numbers indicated, but you gave up a lot of explosives in that game. What's kind of the key going into this year of cutting down those explosive plays?
I think a big thing is just going to be everybody just doing their job. I know that sounds simple, but there are a lot of times where sadly, we kind of, be down early in some games, and, guys are just pressing to make plays. Guys are trying to do too much, trying to make plays that aren't there or trying to make plays they're anticipating on being there. And then you get out of your gap and it's an 18-yard run or that's a, 30-yard run. Those things add up over the course of a game. So I think each and every time we're out there now, guys are just focusing on that play. I think you minimize the thought of, what happened before and what's going to happen after and focus on what's right in front of you. You handle that and then you move on to the next. So I think it's as simple as guys just doing what they need to do. It's not some big secret. It's not some big formula. Obviously, the addition of more talent always helps with any defense, but just guys focusing on what they need to do and not necessarily worrying about what the next man's doing or what the guy next to them is doing. Just focus on their job. And if 11 guys collectively do that down in, down out, we feel pretty good about our chances.
Sheldon, how often did you talk to Vinny Curry last year, particularly when he was going through his health issues, and what has he meant to your guys now?
Yeah, I spoke to Vinny quite a bit. I think, I didn't really know him before I got here, but, in being here and then obviously us, essentially being the two older guys in the room, kind of gravitated towards each other. But, he's just been a welcome presence. I think, him playing in this system before pretty much all his career, he has so much insight to how it's supposed to look for the young guys and the guys on the edges, and then he's played with guys like Fletcher Cox and those guys inside. So, able to pick his brain on what certain things are supposed to look like inside as well. So he's been a welcomed presence as far as that goes. And then when he's on the field, he hasn't lost a step. He's still, arguably probably one of our better get-off guys and one of our better power players, and being able to set the edge in the run game and collapse the pocket in the pass game. So we look forward to him getting back out there with us and not losing a step and continue doing what he's been doing.
Sheldon, when you look at the defense as a whole, you talked about the D-line, but the back end, linebacker, there have been some upgrades here. What are your expectations for this defense this year?
I think the expectations to a man have to be the best defense in the league. I think if we look at anything else or if we put any other goal out there, we're selling ourselves short. What's the point of showing up to the race if you're gonna, say third is cool, So for us, we want that target on our back. We want that challenge. We want to put that out there because it gives us something to go out there and chase every day. I think, it's easy to just say, you want to be good. That's just that's relative. What are you comparing it to? What are you, what is your barometer of what you're trying to judge that against? But, to say you want to be the best, everybody knows what that means. So to a man, we put that on ourselves to go out there and be the best every day, and then we expect nothing less.
Is that talked about? Do you guys talk about that with each other, or you just think that's how everybody feels?
Absolutely, it's talked about. It's discussed quite often. I think, especially, I can speak more so for the D-line room just because that's the group I'm around all the time. But, every time the ball snaps, we don't expect any man across from us to block us. And I think the guys behind us, you got CJ, you got, Quincy, Quan, those guys expect to make tackles for loss every play. And when the ball's in the air, Sauce and those guys back there, they expect to pick the ball off every time. So I think going into it with any other mindset would just be flawed thinking. Like I said, you're selling yourself short. Nobody wants to, for the people racing Usain Bolt, it must have sucked showing up, every time knowing you were going to come in second. But at the end of the day, nobody showed up thinking that. The Tyson Gays, the Johan Blakes, those guys showed up expecting to beat Usain Bolt. And if they didn't, hey, listen, we're going to line it up and try it again. And that's how we look at it. We're going to go out there every day and expect to be the number one defense in this league. And we'll let the chips fall where they may, but that's what we expect of ourselves.
How much easier does your job and the guy's job up front on the defensive line get now after how much this Joe Douglas and guys infuse the back end of the secondary with some new faces?
Absolutely, that helps. I think, you had corners, you had safeties, you had guys who can, make the quarterback have to go through all his progressions. That just gives us an extra hitch, an extra step to get home. It gives us that extra yard and a half to really turn that corner, or that extra yard and a half to continue to push the pocket and really cause disruption. So it all works hand in hand, But at the end of the day, we can't have those guys back there covering all day and we don't win our one-on-ones or we don't win our rushes. So it all works hand in hand, and so far so good. I think, those guys back there have been doing a great job of forcing quarterbacks to kind of go through their reads, go through their progressions, making them hold the ball. And up front, we've been doing a good job of winning our one-on-ones consistently. We just got to continue to do it now and then when game time comes.
You were around a very highly drafted corner in New Orleans with Lattimore. He's turned out pretty good. Do you see any similarities or differences with Sauce here?
I think the one thing that jumps out for both of those guys is confidence. That when they take the field, there isn't a guy they don't think they can cover. There isn't a guy who puts fear in them. There isn't a guy who makes them think about what they have to do. They just trust in their technique and trust in the play call and line up and play accordingly. And that goes a long way in this league. There are a lot of talented guys in this league, but to have that confidence down in, down out, that no matter who it is across from you, you're going to go out and execute your job to the highest level. That goes a long way in making a productive player. So that's the one thing that jumps out to him. Obviously, the size, the length, the hips, the foot speed, the ability to be able to mirror guys with such a long frame. But the confidence is the one thing, especially playing out there on that island. That's the one thing you got to have, and he has it in bundles.
What is Solomon Thomas added to you?
Just another versatile veteran guy. He's a guy who plays extremely hard. He's a guy who has played in this system before. He's played under Saleh, so he kind of, understands little nuances within the defense to help the young guys come along, as well as just understanding the overall arching theme of what Saleh wants, each and every time we touch the field. And he's a guy who can make a lot of plays. He wasn't drafted that high for no reason, obviously, and to have him here in this room with us just gives us another playmaker, a guy who can play up and down the defensive line and truly help us continue to reach the heights that we want to reach.
What's been your impression of the offensive line? I mean, you guys are obviously battling with them every day.
Yeah, I mean, listen, realistic, probably as good a group we're going to see all year. I would honestly think that. When you look from right tackle to left tackle, Makai, the mountain of a man he is, going to give people fits. AVT, a technician, as young as he is, an extremely technical guy, powerful at the point of attack. Connor, such a vet, and played extremely well last year and continuing to play well right now. Lakin, You know, obviously we all know what he did in San Francisco, and then he continues to bring that pedigree, that mindset, you know, that dominant ability over to us. And then we saw what George did last year at left tackle as well. So, you know, it does nothing but continue to push us to get better, because that's the type of group we got to go against every day, and continue to go against them and continue to work to win our rushes and to win those battles will only prove to bring great dividends come game time.